Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Barcelona, the home city of SEAT, for the press world premiere of our brand new SEAT Ibiza in the largest wooden dome of Europe. And actually this wooden dome has an history. It was built at the end of the 19th century by a Catalan architect, and some bullfighting took place until 1977. Then bullfighting was stopped, and the venue was pretty much abandoned until 2005, when a program for redevelopment and refurbishment took place to finally give birth to a commercial center. You went through it when you arrived, and now we have the commercial center and this wooden dome on top. But it's important to keep in mind that the refurbishment has been completely loyal to the original structure of the building defined by the architect. And by the way, one of the beauties of this place is that it offers amazing views on two iconic places of Barcelona, the Plaza de España and the hill of Montjuïc. So you are here from 20 countries as press representatives. And to host you tonight, I'd like to welcome and to introduce Luca Di Meo, the president of SEAT, and all the board members of SEAT that are here with you tonight to accompany you during this evening. So, some of you will remember that almost 1 year ago, we were here in Barcelona, down to the harbor, to introduce the new Ateca. And I have to say that we are more than satisfied with the excellent feedback we have received from you, the press, coupled with amazing commercial results in the countries, in our markets. So 1 year later now, we are introducing to you the brand new SEAT Ibiza with even more ambitious objectives. So, what's the program for tonight? First of all, Luca Di Meo will tell you where the brand stands at the moment and give you a good idea of our ambition with the brand and with this specific product. Then will come on stage Dr. Matthias Rabe, the Vice President for Research and Development. He will explain to you comprehensively what the car stands for, and it will be helped for that by Alejandro Mesonero, our Director of Design. And then finally, as an icing on the cake, Dr. Andreas Tossmann, our Vice President for Production, will explain to you the specificities of producing this car to be the first one in the group to produce this new Ibiza on the brand new MQB A0 platform. And then after that, after 45-50 minutes, you will have the opportunity to discover the car by yourself, to get into it, and to grab some food, of course. So now, let the show begin, and please welcome on stage Luca Di Meo.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a Barcelona. So good evening to everybody. Of course, you know, the launch of a new generation Ibiza is for the people of SEAT always some kind of magic moment. But before starting with you know, the real issue and presentation of the product, I would like that you allow me the opportunity to tell you about what's going on in our company. I think there is a world that in a way describe what is happening around SEAT, and this word is surprising. And I would like to mention a few facts that might explain why I'm saying this. As you know, we sold approximately 410,000 cars last year, but what went unnoticed probably is that 2016 has been the 5th consecutive year of growth for the SEAT brand. So with 30% jump in sales in the last 5 years, actually we are one of the fastest growing brands in Europe. What is also surprising is that this growth, at least until now, comes from a very, I would say, very balanced performance of all the models of the range. So it is not only the success of the Ateca, which of course we like, Ateca only represented last year 5% of the total deliveries just because it entered the game at the end of the second half. For example, Leon and Alhambra had their best ever year in 2016. And also Ibiza showed, I think, an incredibly stable performance in its 9th year of life cycle. This car was able again to break the barrier of the 150,000 units. People are always kind of puzzled when I mention to them that our biggest market is Germany. This is the kind of, if you make it there, you make it everywhere place. This is one of the most demanding and competitive markets in the world. And in Germany, SEAT continues to grow, and we are, I would say, stable in the hit parade and in the top 10. This is, for us, very, very encouraging, obviously, also for our future expert ambitions, but it's also good for our balance sheet, because obviously everybody knows that Germany is a very important, but also very rich market. And that brings me to another surprising aspect of our recent history. Maybe something we haven't directly and repeatedly shared, especially with the motor press. We scratched break-even in 2015 after 8 years. And after 9 months in 2016, we had actually the best financial performance of our whole history, with 137 million euro profit. And we have reached an operative return on sale that easily stands, and this is important, the comparison with our European competitors. I can't tell you more today about economics because we will be announcing the full year 2016 result on the 23rd of March. What I can tell you now is that the final closing is actually confirming the positive trend of the first 9 months, and I can also tell you that we are optimistic on the fact that 2017 also would be a positive year for our brand. In other words, it looks like, and we feel like this, that we are on the path of sustainable profitability for the SEAT brand. And, you know, having a healthy SEAT is not only important for our shareholder, the Volkswagen Group, for our employees and for our dealers, it's also important for Barcelona, where we are by far the biggest company, and for Spain. There were very surprising, again, information coming from the conclusion of a study that we commissioned last year to understand the impact of our activity on the socio-economical system of this country. Some information that I would like to share with you today, just, you know, to put the announcement of the new model of a new car into a bigger context. Information number one: SEAT turnover represents almost 1% of the total GDP of Spain, which is, as you know, the 4th economy in Europe. Number two, by selling 80% of our cars abroad, we are the biggest exporter across industry in this nation, counting for 3% of the total trade balance. Information number three, in terms of productivity, we have massively contributed. With more than 17% improvement in the last 3 years, we have been a benchmark in one of the most important, I would say, economical dimension, the one that measures the health and the competitiveness of an economical system. Fourth information, in 2015, we have invested more than 500 million euros in R&D. This represented 7% of our total revenue. This is a figure that positions us into the top tier in the automotive industry. So not only we are investing for our brighter future, but we actually turned to be the biggest investor in R&D in the manufacturing industry in this country. Now I have a fifth information number, 100,000. 100,000 are the jobs that SEAT is creating directly and indirectly in this country. In a country where youth unemployment is one of the highest in Europe and obviously one of the biggest social emergency, we are also doing our part. We have continued hiring every single year. 24-25% of our employees are already millennials, and more than 50% of the recruitments in 2015 were under the age of 30. So the reason why I wanted to share these data was only to give you some kind of, I would say, different perspective on the role and the importance of this company. Now, in 2013, with the Leon, we proved we could establish ourselves as, I would say, a credible player in the most competitive and consolidated segment in Europe, what is normally named like the golf category. With the Ateca in 2016, we managed to create an instant hit, I would say, in the most dynamic segment in Europe. This is the A-SUV segment, the compact SUV segment. Ateca became immediately a kind of public darling, as you know, and was also rated by all the media as a top-notch product. So far, I think let's say, we were #1 in almost 60% of the comparative test in the specialized media, and in the large majority of the cases, we were on the podium. So either #1, #2, or #3. And I think although there is still a lot of work to do, including to address the future challenges that the whole automotive industry will have to face in the next years, I think I can state without arrogance that we have done, a big part of our homework, especially in the industrial, in the technical, and the financial parts. We have now, I think, a solid base to start from and jump to the next level. We feel that we are moving from a phase of recovery to a phase of development and to a phase of growth. We are working very hard to be seen in maybe a few years as one of the most dynamic organizations in this industry. And the two important models that we will be launching this year, I'm sure will work as a kind of an accelerator in this process. Now, coming back to the real purpose of the event, let me say that obviously Ibiza has always been fundamental for the SEAT brand. During a long time, it was the most successful product before first Leon, as you know, and then Ateca came onto the scene. We are talking today about generation number 5. So as much as in Germany, the reference was to the Golf generation, in Spain, a country that 30 years ago was experiencing a kind of economic boom and was opening again to the world, they were talking about Generation Ibiza. The Ibiza was the first important Spanish product conquering Europe at that time. For us at SEAT, it was and it is much more than just a symbol. I have to remind you that in 1984, SEAT was left alone by its previous partner. So our destiny was in our hands. At that time, the SEAT management came up with one of the best products in that decade. The car was beautiful, was roomy, was economical, and was great to drive. If you want, the genes, the DNA, as we say, of SEAT were defined in that very moment with the launch of the first Ibiza. That product was the first volume car fully designed, developed, produced in Spain, and it became, as we know, an international success. It was also, when you look at history books, a very big argument for the Volkswagen Group to buy a big share of SEAT 2 years later. Young people loved it immediately, and women were right from the beginning a big part of Ibiza customer base. That's why maybe we are still, today, in 2016-17, the youngest brand in Europe in terms of buyer demographics. That's why probably why we still have as many men and women buying and driving our products. In other words, what I wanted to say is that we would not be here where we are today without Ibiza. That's for sure, that's clear from the history of our business. It's més que un cotxe, as they say here in Catalan. This is more than a car for SEAT. You might remember some stories that, for example, thanks to a deal with Porsche, engines were branded with the system Porsche. That was a great marketing idea. You might also remember that Ital Design and Giorgetto Giugiaro designed the first generation of Ibiza. It's actually funny because we are now all part of the same house. So nobody would have imagined in 1984 that this would happen. So Ibiza, it was a kind of a test bench, a proving ground for what would have happened maybe 20, 30 years later. 5.4 million cars sold, 3 million still are circulating. Now, these are big numbers. It's more just than a symbol. In the case of Leon in 2013 and then in the case of Ateca in 2016, we enter into the segments as, I would say, challengers. But in this case, this is very, very different. I would dare to say that we have tried to make a product that could bring us in this competition to the final phase of the Champions League, just to use some words from soccer. We have tried to make a car that is so good that nobody who's looking for a compact car in Europe will be able to ignore it. And I'm saying this because there are very, very solid arguments to say it. We are the first one to use the new and the newest mechanical and electronical platform of the group called MQB A0. This, for me, also shows the trust and the reputation that the Spanish engineering and production community has achieved within the Volkswagen Group. In fact, we are not talking today about one model. We are talking about a new product line for SEAT, Ibiza and Arona. And all in all, if you look at the whole MQB A0 project, we are talking about more brands, more models, more plants into the Peninsula Iberica. We are talking today only about one part of a bigger MQB A0 project. And in this respect, Ibiza is playing the role of the kick starter. I am convinced that Ibiza and Arona are the cars that could bring SEAT to the next level in terms of public attention and recognition. Just consider that with the new models, our coverage of the European market increased from 50 to 75% in just 2 years. Of course, you, as experts, will have to judge if we have made it. For sure, the customer will have the final judgment, but our target was clearly to come up with a leading product, and this is the message today from my side. Now, my presentation is almost at the end. Let's have a look and feel of the car with the people that really made it happen. So I would like to ask to Matthias Rabe, our board member for research and development, to join me on stage. Yes, thank you. Matthias, I just have a quick question to warm up. Let's say if you had to define Ibiza with just 2 words, what kind of words would you use?
Luca, we both have driven the car recently. Winter test, we have driven it a lot. I think it's a fantastic car. And I think, I'm sure, it brings SEAT to the next level, but maybe also the segment to the next level. But let's have a look to the car.
That's also what I said, so it looks like we are pretty much aligned.
Yes.
So I think it's time now to have a look at our latest creation, and we'll come in a minute. I have the temptation to quote one of the greatest architects in the world, that is actually from the city Barcelona, Antoni Gaudí, who said that originality means going back to the origin. That's what we try to do, you know, with Ibiza, and I think that this quote fits perfectly the situation. I leave it now to Matthias to, let's say, describe the car and talk about it as he did it with his team. And I thank you very much for your kind attention and for coming here tonight.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, isn't it a fantastic car? It's a real SEAT. It's dynamic, it's agile, it's comfortable. It has the SEAT design DNA. Alejandro Mesonero will show us later. And as Luca was saying, this car is the first car in the group based on the new platform, the MQB A0. And with the MQB A0, with the new platform, a lot of new technology is brought to that car and to that segment, which was not available so far. And what you can see direct is that with the new platform, also the proportions have changed a lot. Yeah, I will describe some of the things. For example, the wheelbase was extended by 90 millimeters. 90 millimeters is nearly a world. And the wheel diameter was also increased to a huge number, to 630 millimeters. That brings a lot of functionality. That means, for example, all the interior measures of the car have been improved. Yeah, for example, the elbow freedom in the front is much better. The room in the rear is much better, despite the car is lower. And also the width and the headroom is much better. That means more functionality. But very important is this platform allows also much better proportion for the design. Yeah? With the wheels more extended, with bigger wheels, we have very, very short overhang. Let me come a little bit back to the functionality. Additional to the room inside, we also increased the baggage compartment by 20%, by more than 20%, to more than 350 liters, which is a really very good value. And the platform, together with the body of the car, is good for an increased stiffness of the car of 30%. And that is something you can feel when you drive, because it gives you better comfort, better agility, and better acoustic performance of the car. And on the other hand side, for sure, this car, based on the new MQB A0, will fulfill for sure all the latest standards, legal standards and safety, but also will perform very well on all the consumer tests, which is very important. Yeah, I mentioned already, with the new platform, with the better proportions, we have much more abilities for the design. And I would like to to ask my colleague, Mr. Alejandro Mesonero, Head of Design, to explain us. Alejandro, please explain us some more of the details of the design.
It is indeed a fantastic car to drive, a fantastic car to look at and to feel and to experience from the inside. But I would like to start by telling our guests here tonight where are we in terms of our design strategy with the new Ibiza. You know, in 2012, we launched the SEAT León, the third generation. It was a car very important for SEAT, and a car that somehow, for the designers, settled down the design criteria or the foundations for the design strategy of the new models. A car that, by the way, has had a great success in the markets, and still today, it's, I believe, a beautiful car. In 2016, we actually took some elements of, this design strategy. First, I started with the León, and then we combined them, adding some more innovative elements. We combined them to adapt them into the architecture or the genetics, the codes of an SUV, and that was the Ateca. Now, tonight, in 2017, we are pleased to show you our 5th generation Ibiza. And this car has, it is, I would say, a further step, a big step in terms of our design strategy. Our design has become more characterful, it has become more mature, it has more personality, and for sure is more expressive. And a good example of this expressiveness, or this, the way we express the character in our car, in our Ibiza, is the front end. The front end, thanks especially to the triangular headlamps. You heard many times, maybe too many from me, that the headlamps are really the eyes of the human face. And those triangular headlamps, those triangular eyes, they have a similar family feeling to the León, but the execution is completely different. It's much more pure, because it's very close to the triangle. As you know, the triangle, we use it as a source of inspiration in SEAT design. So it's very pure, it's very direct, it communicates immediately when we see the car. Continuing with the front, I would like to mention our intention this time to connect in a much direct way, in a much more defined way, the dynamic lines of the hood, typical from SEAT, with the more stable and vertical lamps of the bumper. There is no interruption from the A-post to the bottom of the bumper with this line. It's very pure again, and it gives you the impression of robustness, and it has a lot of, I would say, drama when you see the car from the front. A third element which is new in our new Ibiza, it's how the logo feels better supported visually in the front end. Mainly thanks to the 2 extra lines that we have on the hood, that they are pointing directly to the logo, and also to the small scallop, to the small shape just below the logo that really houses the logo and puts the logo in the frame. Those lines also help very much to sculpt, to communicate light and shadows with the eyes of the beholder. But talking about the sculpture, I'm particularly proud of what we have done on the body side of the Ibiza. My intention from the beginning was to add more 3-dimension plasticity, more sophisticated sculpture to the body side. You can see that by the way the light is applied on the wheel arches facing upwards, at the front, at the rear, but also by the strong and wide shoulder which sits just below the window line. A window line, by the way, that is typically SEAT. But I cannot continue without mentioning our trademark blisters, front and the rear blister. Those blisters, they have become, or they are becoming more and more parallel. They are more horizontal, they are more dynamic, and as we will see later, they are more accurate in the way they are drawn. The novelty here also It's how the rear blister turns around the rear lamp and goes with a lot of strength in one stroke to the side of the car, to the lower blister of the door. And since we are at the rear, I would like to mention the rear lamp. Actually, after 4 generations of Ibiza, we really felt that it would be a good idea to keep that idea of the original Ibiza with one single lamp on the corner. It makes it very Ibiza immediately. It's recognizable. It gives it a lot of personality. It makes the car wider, a little bit chunkier, a little bit more nervous. So all in all, as you can see, a beautiful exterior design where we took care of the big things, the proportions. We took care of the volumes, the lines, the surfaces to create, as you can see, a very, very nice car. I would take you for a very short spin on the interior. The interior of the new Ibiza, it's a big step also in terms of our design language. It's a strong evolution. We obviously kept our driver-oriented dashboard. This is in our DNA. But this time we made it more sculpted, and also we made it more visually aligned. Thank you especially to the decorative pad that you can see in color on the photo that finds some elongations around the doors in order to create an atmosphere of more space and well-being. But because, as you know, in SEAT we love to join or to match advanced technology with good design, we implement in the middle of the dashboard our 8-inch screen infotainment that I think that Matthias will tell us a little bit more just in a few seconds. Just the right size, 8-inch, to communicate with the car, but also with the outside world of the car. So Matthias, I think that now I would like you to join me, and I let you continue with your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, I think Alejandro described perfectly that's a typical SEAT, that we found our design language, but we improve it with every model, like Alejandro, like you explained, and I think that's the next logical step. I want to explain some more of the technical things, and really to show also how design meets technology. And you know all, one very important thing is the light, and give me some seconds to explain it here as well. This car is featured all with full LED light. For sure, the basic will have halogen light. And this light is important for the design of the car. As you can see here, the daytime running light, which, by the way, also works as the intermediate light when you turn. And we have then the LED low beam light. That means the normal light when you drive this light at night. And the light performance, and that's the important thing when technology meets design, the light performance is really on the same level than for example, Ateca or the Leon, the new Leon we have today. And that's really outstanding in that class. Let me come to some more details. Very important is, Alejandro described the design, very important is we concentrate to make a very sleek A-pillar, to position, for example, the mirror on the door, to avoid any structures here. That's the clean and the nice SEAT design we did on all the things. You saw also the rear with the single part rear lights in LED. Ladies and gentlemen, let's come to some more technical point. Let's come to the powertrain. Let's come to the engine. The car is equipped with 3-cylinder gasoline engines ranging from 60 horsepower to 115 horsepower gasoline engines, and especially the 115 horsepower 85 kilowatt with 200 Newton meter really makes fun to drive and is very good in fuel consumption. And on top of the gasoline engines, there will range a 4-cylinder 1.5 liter with 150 horsepower, and I drove it recently. It makes really fun in this light and agile car. And we have 3 diesel engines, all with 1.6 liter displacement, 3 diesel engines ranging from 80 horsepower to 115 horsepower. And very important, this diesel and gasoline engines can be combined with manual gearboxes, 5-speed, 6-speed, and with a double clutch gearbox DSG as well. We also offer a CNG propulsion system based on the TSI engine. We call it then the TGI, which will be available with a 3-cylinder gasoline engine with a CO2 emission of less than 90 grams. Coming more for technology, I already mentioned the passive safety, which is very important, but this car sets also standards for the active safety, and one example for that are the advanced driver assistance systems. And just to mention, 100% of SEAT Ibiza will have pedestrian protection. That means the car makes an emergency brake if it detects a pedestrian in front and decides that there's really a danger. And the car also have tiredness recognition. That means the car is observing how the driver is interacting with the car and then react and warn the driver in case that something could happen. And the car has as an option also the automatic distance control. That means it has an advanced cruise control system with an distance control and also the follow to stop function. That means also semi-automatic driving in a traffic jam. Ladies and gentlemen, let's come to the interior. We already saw the 8-inch screen. Very important is we did it as a black panel, 8-inch screen. That means the touch buttons are included in this black panel you can see over there. And infotainment and connectivity is extremely important for us. Therefore, like we did it in the Ateca, with the same philosophy below the navigation or below the radio navigation system, we have the wireless charging box, we have the connectivity box, and we also have a WLAN hotspot, which is pretty new in that segment of a car. We offer as well a B-zone, that means a dual zone air condition system, and as you can see on this picture here as well, we also have a keyless entry and keyless start system. And also we will start in summer this year with a co-branding, with technology, with a Beats audio system, which really stands for young customer, for performance, and for perfect sound you can see in the car. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ibiza will have four trim versions. It will start with the reference, we will have the style, and then we will have the FR, as you can see here, which is the top of the Ibiza lineup. But you can see also in this mystic magenta, in this new color, you see the excellence version. And the excellence version is the execution of a more comfort or lifestyle-oriented version of the car. It has a little bit more chrome. We play with colors, we play with textiles. Also, the chassis is adjusted in a more comfortable way, but not losing the agility. That means the excellence and the FR are the both tops of the Ibiza line. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this car will have the market launch in June this year. That means in June this year, the car will be available in the dealer for the customer. And I want to summarize maybe. You know, with the new Leon, and it was said tonight, with the new Leon, we created something like the new SEAT in 2012 or 2013. And we described with the new Leon a SEAT formula, and this Ibiza stands absolutely for this formula. And that means SEAT and the Ibiza is standing for design, but also functionality. We have seen much more space inside in all directions. SEAT stands for clear, for sure, for dynamism or sportiness, but also for comfort. SEAT stands for quality, but accessible quality. And SEAT and Ibiza stands for emotion and technology. And that's all valid for the new Ibiza. And really, we are looking forward to have the car on the street, and I think the same for you. Thank you very much. I would like now to hand over to my colleague, to Dr. Andreas Toastmann, who will show us a little bit about the production method in Martorell about that car. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The heart of our new SEAT Ibiza is the new MQB A0 platform. And with the worldwide first deployment of the modular platform A0 within the Volkswagen Group, we are setting new standards. For us, quality is not a coincidence, but a systematic process. And this platform speaks about simplicity, flexibility, and robustness. It all begins in our press shop, where metal sheets from 0.6 millimeter to 1.5 millimeter are stamped with a force of 81,000 kilonewtons to produce the new Ibiza based on the MQB A0. And my heart really beats faster when I see a plain, shiny silver sheet metal, because for us it means the beginning of perfection, and perfection is our passion. The sheet metal for a fender weighs 5 kgs and is barely 0.6 millimeter thick. And in the ultra-modern press shop, precision takes shape. Here we form the distinctive lines of the design, which we call the blister, to a really sharp edge. With a concentrated force of a 40-ton tool, we are able to form 3-millimeter radii tight in the blisters. And the radii of the design line of the new Ibiza is up to 30% sharper than its predecessor. It is a difference that our customers can see and feel, and sharpness is taken here really to the next level. In the body shop of the new Ibiza, we are using components from different material. What happened here is high-tech. It is technology to enjoy. Precision, lightweight, and robustness create the identity of the new Ibiza. With the use of 900 robots, like this one, more than 4,000 welding points guarantee the robustness of our vehicle. This is more than 3 million welding points per day. Spot welding, combined with laser technology, brings components together with an opposite result: a lightweight body and an extreme structural stiffness. Our laser technology also stands for the highest precision. A bundled beam of light, a laser beam that, if sent from Earth to the moon at 300,000 kilometer distance, would still have a precision of 3 millimeters. And we use the precision of this laser technology for the production of the new SEAT Ibiza. We use the laser soldering technology in order to assemble the rooftop to the side panel. And all of that is done with a tolerance of less than 0.2 millimeter, a value that cannot be imagined since it cannot be measured with the naked eye. But the result can be seen and felt: an excellent product appearance without roof joining covers for concealing welding points, optimum stiffness, and finally, a safe protection against corrosion. This is perfection and precision in 3.2 meter of laser seam. The customer notices these technologies and the precision throughout the vehicle's life. In our paint shop, the form is given color. So in other words, this is where we protect and give gloss. And this involves immersions of the body in basins, oven drying, energizing, cleaning with feathers, and finally painting with environmental friendly paints. And just like that, we get our car painted. But what does this mean exactly? Our range allows us to select from 10 different tones, from the mystery blue to the magenta or desire red. The paint system is like a sandwich with 5 layers, and each layer provides specific features. In total, all the layers are no thicker than 120 microns, and that means as thin as a human hair, but as solid as a rock. And the journeys over dirt roads, even in the rain, cause customers to smile from ear to ear, and the customer is in the dry and the car is protected against environmental influences. Instead of working with solvents, we use water-based paints to reduce solvent emission. And the manufacturing of the new Ibiza today consumes 23% less energy than 5 years ago. In assembly, the body is turned into a finished vehicle. Here, a masterpiece of logistical processes take place. And for us, this means to have the right parts at the right time in the right place. The new MQB A0 allows us the flexibility to introduce in a simple way different types of powertrains and suspension. It allows us to reduce complexity while we are able to increase the offer for our customers. And all that with the shortest time to market. We need to be able to cope with so much variety with highly qualified employees, with flexibility and precision, and always the highest possible quality. And only after the final approval, after comprehensive quality testing, we release the new Ibiza to make its way to you. And with the MQB A0 manufacturing process, which will become standard in the Volkswagen Group worldwide, we guarantee the highest quality and precision. A passion for perfection and consistently high quality workmanship results in unbeatable product quality. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard and seen how the new Ibiza is brought to life. However, beyond cutting-edge technologies and lean processes, the key to our success is our top-motivated team. I assure you, our new Ibiza is a promise of quality and precision. And the satisfaction of our customer is our motivation. Together with my team, I guarantee it, part by part and car by car. Many thanks, muchas gracias. And I like to hand over to Christian. Christian.
Well, we are actually coming to an end of this presentation. I'd like to thank all our speakers for this very interesting presentation made tonight. Before you get the opportunity to discover the car and really to get into the flesh and to grab some food, I have 3 additional information to share with you. First of all, it's a reminder, the introduction of the car will be just before the summer, in June. Secondly, regarding the press kit that you could find on your seat when you arrived, this press kit has exclusive photographs for you attending the event tonight. So there are some photographs that won't be placed on the media center. That's important to mention. But if you need additional photographs, we have a special service for you tonight, so with photographers and retouchers. And to get in touch with these guys, you need to ask the help for 2 people I'm going to call on stage now, Valdi and Jaume. So these are the 2 guys you can get to in order to have additional photographs. The team is behind the stage already working on that because they took some photos of the cars in the last days. And on top of that, you will have probably additional information. So of course, the board members and the speakers will be available tonight, but to be honest, they already have a pretty busy schedule tonight. So we have a team of 11 experts, just like a football team. So they are coming on my right and on my left. So if you have any question regarding the topic that you can see on screen, so engineering, driving assistance system, design, connectivity, electronics, lighting, quality, the specific MQB platform, or product marketing, so if you have questions about the equipment, about the excellence stream, these are the people. So these people here will be on the right, for me on the right, for the left for you, so product marketing, engineering, driving assistance system, and on the left, the other group, design, connectivity, quality, MQB. So, and they will be here tonight, available for you to answer any additional question you might have. Guys, thank you. So you can take your place because it's coming to an end. So, now it's really almost finished. I just would like for the photographs to call on stage the 4 speakers tonight to give a photo opportunity. So Luca, Matias, Alejandro, Andreas, if you want to join me on stage, get in front of the car. We need the light on the car, and that's now finished, so you can get into the cars and grab some food, which is everywhere here and in the area behind when you entered. Thank you very much, and have a good evening with us in Barcelona.